Mark of the Witch is a 1970 horror film from director Tom Moore. The movie begins in ye olden times, with a witch being led to execution. They filmed this in the muddiest field they could find. A gallows? Everybody knows you have to burn witches. The executioner looks mildly perplexed. Yes, wouldn't want your hair getting caught in the rope. Before the execution, they give the witch ample time to lay a curse on the town. Apparently this guy made a deal with Satan for power and riches, but now he's backing out on the deal. Casting spells makes your hair frizzy. She then starts spouting some deicide lyrics.
The mark of my Lord Satan will be with you always!
They finally had enough and give her a good hanging. We then cut to hundreds of years later. Back in the 70s, people just jogged in khakis and button-down shirts. Someone is singing a very odd song.
She sprinkled them with milk and seed. They'd fly, then fall as feathers.
Over at the Varsity Bookstore, these guys are pushing a garbage can filled with books. I see they're properly disposing of 50 Shades of Grey. This guy is loading up on witch books. He explains he's studying the psychology of superstition. Alan then goes to see his girlfriend Jill.
I never knew there were so many books.
If you think there's a lot of books on weird subjects now, wait until you see the future.
Honestly, I never knew books were so dirty.
Ah, she found the Monster Erotica section. Jill discovers the Evil Witch Red Shoe Diaries. That night at the witch party, a sitar. I could smell the patchouli through the TV. The guests are palm reading, talking about astrology, and other things. This college student is 45. This girl wants to know about her love life, and this guy has something to tell her.
I like my chicks dumb, baby, but you really are something else.
And of course it works. Oh wait, I guess it didn't, because they go right back to the party. Jill talks to the professor about the book she found and shows it off. Jill suggests they all do something incredibly stupid.
There's even a spell we can do. I mean, we can work it ourselves tonight. Oh, right now.
Let's meddle in the black arts. It'll be the ginchiest. She scans through the contents and settles on a spell to summon a witch. Fantastic! They light some candles and gather the witch summoning supplies. They finish the spell and immediately lose all interest.
Hey, turn on the light, somebody. I'm ready for another beer.
Meanwhile, something is awakening in Jill. Budweiser, a witch's favorite brew. Jill, now possessed, recognizes the professor as a descendant of the family who killed her. She goes outside and the dog senses evil. I'm almost positive they dubbed in somebody making barking sounds. Ways to get an audience to hate a character. Have them kill a dog. This guy makes a move and Jill Witch is not having it.
Impudent blackwit. Pandering, despicable wretch.
Damn, baby, I didn't know you were an English major. So, the witch is now alive after 300 years. You think she'd be taken aback by things like the horseless carriage. Alan drops her off and gets a big ol' witch cold shoulder. The professor goes looking for his dog, but uh-oh. The witch heads back to the professor's place. She informs him of who she is.
I am Marguerite of Droitdemain, born 1618, died by the rope 1648.
What the hell are kids smoking these days? That's the same thing I'm smoking. She informs him that she killed his dog. The professor then, well...
He annoyed you!
She uses her powers to calm him down. She then explains what's going on and why he's screwed. She points out that he has a number 2 or a snake or some kind of mark that shows he's connected to her.
You live in a strange world, McIntyre. I have need to know my way about it. To begin with, what is that?
Oh, she's not a witch, she's a millennial. The witch tells the professor she needs him to teach her about the world now. She then greatly overestimates the power of lamps.
Had you and I a lamp like this, our coven would have ruled the world.
The professor then explains something incredibly important.
This is coffee. This is called a percolator. We put the coffee in here.
What's next? You gonna teach her how to fold your laundry? Alan goes to pick up Jill, but she's not home. Over at the professor's house, Alan comes in, sees Jill, and it breaks his brain. The professor tries to explain that Jill is now a witch. Alan doesn't believe him, so she proves it by blowing up a bird.
Alan. No.
She explains she has a bunch of evil things she needs to do. The witch tells them not to try and stop her or she'll kill Jill. She leaves, and they immediately try to figure out how to stop her.
How could a thing like this happen?
The book. The red book.
You think? He explains that he was using the book for his class, but it backfired. I accidentally released a witch. My bad. The professor shows Alan his witch mark.
Mike, that's a birthmark.
Has this guy never seen a real birthmark? This is what they look like. The witch is in the woods communicating with her coven. I summon forth the Lilith Fair. Hot Wiccans in your area are looking for sexy singles. She calls forth Satan and then diddles herself with leaves. The professor heads back to his place and uh-oh, the witch found the synthesizer.
Jill!
Ooh, witchy woman.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
She tries to seduce him, but it doesn't work. The next day at the book sale, since her seduction of the professor failed, she moves in on Captain Horny. She dupes him into meeting her at midnight in the grove of trees where I'm sure she won't sacrifice him. This guy sounds like he's going to finish before he even gets started.
Oh, yeah, fine. I'll be there.
Later that night, I'm ready to be murdered for Satan. He's wearing a full suit to have sex in the woods. He's classy. She gives him some drugged booze, which paralyzes him. The witch has him recite a spell.
Forever into eternity.
Forever into eternity.
No. Into eternity!
Into eternity.
Harry then dies.
And nothing of value was lost.
Alan tells the professor that Harry's missing. They go looking for him at his favorite makeout spot. They find the witch and ask her why she killed Harry.
Dear Alan, if your little friend has murderous impulses, you can hardly blame it on me.
Whatevs. I killed him. What are you going to do about it? Sharon confronts Jill about Harry. The witch convinces her to drink this potion. The professor tells Alan about something he found. It's a spell to vanquish the witch, but it's unfinished.
Ginger, long pepper, clove, pink, cinnamon, cloves, mace, nutmeg.
Mix that with some warm brandy, and you've got a delicious hot toddy. The witch drags Sharon out to the woods. She then kills Sharon. Oh, it feels so good to laugh. The professor falls asleep, and then his inner warlock begins to finish the spell. Alan wakes up and reads the spell, which immediately summons the police.
Shadows upon shadows, encircling the unholy one with the sign of the holy.
Out in the woods, they're gathering up Sharon's body. The reporter's being a vulture, of course.
Kind of a gory thing out here. We'll have to play that up a little bit in the story, and so...
The next day...
Yeah, you know, if we could just get her to tell us what she's going to do next.
She's a witch, not a Bond villain. The professor gets a call about Sharon. The witch arrives and is acting quite sassy. She tells them that she has no further use for Jill. She then tells them she needs their help for a reversal spell to free Jill. They set up everything for the incantation and reversal spell so they can bring Jill back. They set up a trap to kill the witch if she double-crosses them. That night, they're doing magic. The witch double-crossed them, and now they're paralyzed. She goes to kill the professor, but is stopped by the power of Jesus. The trap they laid is a bunch of crosses and disco lights. They manage to separate Jill from the witch. The professor uses a cross, and it makes her horny? Actually, it makes them both horny. I can't with this ending, so I'll just let it play out. Sure. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, there was a huge influx of witch and Satan movies, most likely due to 1968's Rosemary's Baby. Mark of the Witch was trying to capitalize on this trend by making a very low-budget feature with an almost entirely new cast. For most of them, it was also their only movie. Barbara Bromwell had the most successful career of the bunch, following this up with mostly TV shows like MASH, Quincy, and Night Court. She was also in the motivational video with Mr. T, Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool. This was director Tom Moore's first film. He didn't direct again until 1977's Return to Boggy Creek, and then his third movie was 2000's The Harvesters. While making movies ended up not going so well for him, he had a very successful career directing over 100 TV commercials. Mark of the Witch is an interesting movie. I think it's fairly creative, and a pretty cool idea, just the execution was a little rough. Anitra Walsh did a good job with the evil witch, and I'm genuinely surprised she didn't do more. Some of the other actors could have been better, but I've seen bigger films where you could also say that. The ending was a bit abrupt, but honestly, what else was there to do? They showed how the witch was able to get her ultimate revenge 321 years later. Sometimes, things just end when it makes the most sense, and doesn't need to be drug out any further. Speaking of which...
Forever into eternity.